This is my review of Aimsweb, specifically the Nonsense Word Fluency Assessment. Aimsweb is a progress monitoring system based on an RTI framework, which uses continuous actionable data. It was designed and produced by Pearson Publishing. Their goal is prevention and remediation. In essence, Aimsweb is designed to help teachers match interventions and instruction to changing student need and therefore prevent academic failure. With the scoring and data capture technology, results can be reported via a web-based data management system. The Nonsense Word Fluency Test is part of the Aimsweb Test of Early Literacy, or TEL, which is used in kindergarten and early grade 1 to identify students at risk for reading difficulties and then monitor their progress. The TEL uses 4 measures identified by the National Reading Panel in 2000: letter naming, letter sounds, phoneme segmentation, and nonsense words. There are 33 standard and alternate versions of each assessment per grade. What does the Nonsense Word Fluency Test assess? Well, being able to read nonsense words means that the student is able to link the written code with the most common sounds in the English language. According to a 2004 study from Fuchs, and Compton, nonsense word fluency is identified as an important and predictive indicator of reading fluency in grade 1, but it is actually not as predictive as word reading fluency. A 2008 study from Ritchie found that there is some variability when nonsense word fluency is used to make progress monitoring decisions about emergent readers. She found that nonsense word fluency cannot confidently be used in isolation when looking to make predictions about future reading abilities. Rather, it should be used as one of many tools, as Aimsweb has also suggested in their test of early literacy. To administer the test, no special training is needed. Any school personnel can administer the test. To ensure its doability, students have 1 minute to read consonant, vowel, consonant, pseudo words. They can either say the sounds of the nonsense words or they can read the full word to score points. Here are some sample words: bim, meb, nep, pling. The student could either say b-e-m, or they could say the pseudo word bim, and in both cases they would score points. Like many of the other progress monitoring tools, you would show the student a couple of practice words and then give them 1 minute to read as many pseudo words as possible. What is nice about the web-based version of Aimsweb is that for any incorrect words, you can tap the screen of your device as the child is doing the test, and the results will be calculated and graphed immediately. Aimsweb claims that it uses powerful measures that are brief, accurate, and predictive. Aimsweb is sensitive to student improvement in short periods of time. Any increase in ability will be reflected in rising scores on the graphing tools. Scores are linked to suggested instructional decision making. These 2 graphs are screenshots from the Aimsweb website. The yellow graph on the left is from the original computer-based software system, while the white graph on the right is from the newer web-based system. Aimsweb is able to graph and compare current and previous scores as well as the change in rate of improvement, or ROI. An interesting note is that Aimsweb allows you to compare the ROI of ELL students to other ELL students or to typical growth norms if you choose, making it useful for a diverse group of learners. This allows teachers to set realistic and attainable goals for their students, as shown on the screen. Aimsweb compares where the student is starting to other similar student profiles to help set appropriate goals given the time frame, and it will alert the teacher if the student is not progressing as expected. In 2009, Ardoin and Christ compared DIBELS and Aimsweb and their own research-created oral reading passage to evaluate the validity of each curriculum-based measurement. They found that the estimates of standard error were smallest from the research-created passage, followed by Aimsweb and then the DIBELS passage. So it seems that in the case of oral reading fluency, Aimsweb results hold more strength and validity than DIBELS. The National Center of Intensive Intervention has also evaluated Aimsweb. They found that there was convincing evidence to prove the validity of the Aimsweb Nonsense Word Fluency Test. Specifically, the reliability of performance and slope of growth was considered accurate and predictively valid. They found that the tool is sufficiently sensitive to student improvement and was predictive of year-end benchmarks. Aimsweb has conducted its own studies with regards to validity and reliability, most recently in 2012. They found their scores to be reliable and valid. However, when comparing their scores to local state tests, the nonsense word fluency test results did not share a higher correlation, indicating some possible issues with reliability in terms of predicting school success. I would suggest that more evidence is needed to draw any distinct conclusions, and the results should be carefully considered as they were funded by the Aimsweb publisher Pearson. There are a number of reviews on the internet from teachers, but the most recent I could find was from 2015, so perhaps the newest web-based version has not yet been reviewed by teachers. For the most part, teachers understand that the information they are getting about their students is useful, but most feel that the time involved in administering the benchmark assessments and probes, scoring, and data entry negates any usefulness of the program. Aimsweb seems like an excellent tool, and I do wish that they offered a free trial because I would be interested in trying it. I am concerned about the price and time required to enter data. The newest web-based version does seem to be more time efficient, as many of the progress monitoring assessment results can be analyzed immediately. Aimsweb does offer a comprehensive set of early literacy universal screening and progress monitoring tools, which is a huge advantage. I particularly like the goal setting tool as it helps to guide the teacher in setting realistic goals. In my opinion, there isn't enough literature available to truly determine the validity of their tools. Unlike Dibbles that has a plethora of literature and studies about its validity, Aimsweb seems to need more time to establish and prove itself. Overall, I was impressed with what I learned and could see that Aimsweb could either help a school to establish a new RTI framework or support an existing one.